What's up, guys? Buck, first one in the stream. Nice. Hey, as you can see, hey, ACC regular season champs, baby. Regular season champs. I got some tortilla chips as well. I'm starving. All right. So, the big question now, and I tweeted this out. You guys probably saw it. Oh, yeah, Miami's locked to get in for sure. The big question is, has there ever been an ACC regular season champion who was not a host? Has there ever been one? I'm going to go with no. And we're going to go to our friends at the Warren Nolan. Let's see. Let's bring them over here so I can look at this. So as of right now, guys, Georgia Tech 19-11 finishes atop the ACC, which in my mind means I think the hosts from the ACC, I think the ACC will get 4. I think it will be Georgia Tech, North Carolina, Florida State, and Clemson, because Clemson swept Pitt. They're 18-12. They're 10th in RPI. Florida State's 14, North Carolina's 7, Georgia Tech's 20, but Georgia Tech has finishes atop the ACC, and I just don't think you cannot be the ACC regular season champion and not be a host. So yeah, I think that's right, Zach. I mean, I think I think it's just, again, that's how it works. You sent me the hosting bubble. Yeah, I see it. I'm pulling it up right now. So according to 11.7, guys, the hosting bubble is, let's see, Florida, in my mind, unless Florida does something special, I get it. Their RPI is 12. Their strength of schedule is 3. But they're 15-15 in conference. They're 11-16 versus Q1. In my mind, Florida's got to do something, go deep in the conference tournament to get a host, in my opinion. Because I do think, like, your conference record matters. Florida's in 100%. I just don't think you should be a host at 15-15, no matter how strong you finish, right? It's about the whole body of work. Georgia Tech will get their top, number 25, right? They just beat Duke, who's number 20. They beat Louisville, who was what? So back-to-back weekends, Georgia Tech has beaten like the number 20 team. I think Louisville is 20, and Georgia Tech and Duke was 20. Somehow Georgia Tech isn't ranked. Somehow going into a weekend when you have the chance to win the ACC outright, you're not ranked. And Drew Burris tweeted it out. Von Lackey tweeted it out. All these guys were tweeting it out. It's actually hilarious. And rightfully so, because I've been saying it the whole year. You guys have heard me say it. Like, why is the ACC so underrated in the rankings? It doesn't make sense. Anyway, so I don't think Florida's going to be a host unless they do something big in the tournament. UCLA, in my mind, I don't think they've finished. Like, they're probably going to get one because it's a West Coast team, unfortunately. But in my mind, I do not think they have. I don't know. I think UCLA probably gets it. They're 3-7 against Q1. Like, you've played 10 games against Q1. So I think there's holes in their resume. But I think they're going to get one. Tennessee, I don't think gets one. They've lost what now? 5 out of 6 of their last weekends. So I think, Zach said it. Buckle up, Tennessee coming to the Atlanta Regional. Yeah, I mean, like I called it. I called it. I said literally, Georgia Tech wins the series, Tennessee loses, they're coming to Atlanta. So who knows? We'll see. TCU, 37-17, 19-11, 17 RPI, 19 strength of schedule. To me, I don't think they get a regional. Unfortunately, again, like all of these teams, a lot of these teams, it's like if they go deep, I think they could fight for a regional spot if they go deep into their conference tournament or win it. Like in my mind, Georgia Tech is automatic host when you win that ACC outright. That's just like you can't penalize the regular season championship team, especially when it's a single elimination tournament and you get a double bye, right? Ole Miss, same thing. I just don't. Again, you're 16-14, same as Tennessee. If Tennessee doesn't get a host, Florida shouldn't get a host. And if Tennessee doesn't get a host, Ole Miss shouldn't get a host. Dallas Baptist, I think, is just strength of schedule's too low. RPI is solid. Strength of schedule's too low. Only played 9 Q1 games. I don't think they're going to get one. Georgia Tech, I think, is automatic host. And I'll pull up what I'm looking at so you guys can see it. From our boy Zach. Southern Miss is interesting. Again, the RPI, I just think like the mid-major crutch is that it's just really hard to build that RPI. Strength of schedule is 69. They're 7-4 against Q1, which is really good. I think they may have to, again, like Southern Miss wins the Sun Belt tournament. They could find their way into one, but I think they have to win it to get it. I don't know. I mean, maybe we'll see. The committee always does dumb stuff, right? But 24-6 in the Sun Belt is very impressive, and they swept Troy to end the week or to end the season. So, Southern Miss, I think Southern Miss, of all the teams on here, besides Georgia Tech, I think is the most deserving. Besides Georgia Tech. And then Kansas, I think it's just, again, they've had a great year. Another great final series. Sweeping, who was it? They swept West Virginia, which again knocked West Virginia out of the hosting chances. Yeah, Danny Burke, I saw it. Yeah, I loved it. I love Burris. And Burris, I mean, let's talk about Drew Burris. The last 2 games, this series, he has 2 4-hit games. He goes 4 for 4 today with 2 doubles and a bomb. Talking about, and again, I've told you guys this. Drew Burris, the thing that separates him and the reason he's like a 1-1 type player and the reason he is like the best player in college baseball, it's not just, listen, this year he's been pitched around. He hasn't hit for as many home runs, but he's hit a bunch of doubles. He's walking a ton. Like he's being patient. He's allowing the guys behind him to get their at-bats, to trust them to drive him in. Moving him to leadoff spot, I think, was a great move just because now he's actually getting pitched to somewhat, right? So I think that was a great move to move him to a leadoff spot. And I just think he's a guy that shows up in big moments. Like he's got the tools. He's got the numbers. He also just shows up when his team needs it most. Like he just finds a way to make big moments. And he's had a bunch of those this year, and he came up big today. Wiley Ballard Enjoyer is back in the chat. Dare I say your name? Does Kyle have his tickets for the GT Regional? I'll definitely be making an appearance. Or Zach, I missed that one. Zach said Oregon should be a national seed. Is that what it says? Yeah, I agree. I mean, Oregon's dominated, and if Oregon State gets a national seed over Oregon, I'm going to freak out. If Oregon State gets a national seed over Oregon, like we all know Oregon State's going to get a host. That's just what it is. But like Oregon beat them 4 straight games, and they have just as good of a record. They play in an actual conference. I think Oregon should be a national seed. GT will probably be the 13 or 14 overall seed, win the ACC tournament, and can probably get to the 9 or 10 overall seed. Yeah, I think me and Dusty were talking about this. It's almost like if they have to win the tournament to potentially get it. like an outside chance of being a national seed. Dusty believes you win the this is another interesting take, and I think he's right. If you went back decades, I think the team, the ACC regular season champion, is like almost always a national seed, right? And we're talking about like Georgia Tech maybe being the 14th overall seed. Would Drew Burress have moved to a corner spot if he played at GT with Kyle Wren? Well, I'm not going to bring that up tonight. Georgia Tech won the ACC regular season title. Do I think I'm a better speed, better glove, better just range? I think he's a great defender. I think he's a solid defender. He didn't have the speed that I had, but he's got a way better arm than I had. So we'll say that. So, there's different things. Absolute gamer. That's right. He is. He's absolute gamer. He just comes up big when his team needs it. Miami is winning the ACC tournament. Canes, I love the optimism, man. I love the optimism. Kyle Wren hates Beavers. I don't hate Oregon State. I've said this the whole time. Oregon State's an amazing program. They're good every year. I think they should be a host. I just don't get, at one point they were like number 3 in the country, and you looked at their schedule and you're like, who have they played? And then they played Oregon, who's pretty much the best opponent they've played all year, and they got swept in 4 games. So I don't hate the Oregon State Beavers. I think they're a really good team. I just think they should be like 10th seed, 11th seed, something like that. Zach, D1 Baseball said Arkansas, Georgia, LSU, North Carolina, Texas, Vanderbilt, and Auburn are locks to be national seeds. So the entire SEC? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Just put Florida State in there. I think Florida State has to be the other. That would surprise me if Florida State's not a national seed. But it'll be Oregon State, actually. I think Auburn, D1 Baseball saying that, but all right, let me look at the SEC standings here. All right. So this is just me. Auburn finished 17-13. Okay. I think Auburn is on the very fringe of national seed. I think they're either like the 8th seed. And again, their RPI is number 2. Their strength of schedule is really good. They play in the SEC, so both those things are going to be really good. But when you finish 6th in the SEC, they're going to be like the 7th or 8th seed. So I think it just depends on. I think how they do in the tournament could impact them potentially, and also how other teams do that are on that like bubble of national seed. Auburn could somehow fall out of it. They do have 2 wins over Georgia Tech. That's right. Thanks for bringing that up, Canes. Really appreciate that. Had to bring that up. Hey, Kyle, UVA, we're still playing hard, giving it their all. Dude, UVA is, I think UVA is a sleeper in the tournament. UVA is a sleeper in the ACC tournament, but also the NCAA tournament. Remember, UVA was the projected number 2, or preseason number 2 ranked team. And the Virginia found a way to claw back to 16-11 in ACC. And think about it, if they had played Florida State, if that series had happened, Virginia could legitimately have tied for the win in regular season play. But yeah, I think Virginia is going to be a scary team in the NCAA tournament. D1 Baseball is SEC bootlickers. No disrespect, but full disrespect at the same time. Listen, the SEC is the best conference. It's just a reality. So I get that they have different parameters than all the other conferences. I think the ACC is close. I think the ACC should be treated close, like almost the same. But I get why the SEC is, treated, has different, things going for it and everything. That's fine. Like, that doesn't bother me. All right, let me see. You guys are chatting so fast. Bark says, Canes, that was funny. Danny Burke. Actually, no, there's more. Man, you guys are killing me. Oh, Burke says, I feel sorry for whoever gets Gators as a 2 seed if they're not a host. Yeah, I think Florida has to win the SEC championship to get a host. That's my opinion. Again, Sully has done a heck of a job. Getting them back to 500 in conference when you start 1-11 is insane. But again, you're 15-15. So, in my opinion, Florida cannot be a host if Tennessee's not a host. They can't be a host if Ole Miss isn't a host. I don't think either of them are going to be host. Is Notre Dame in now, or do they need a run in the ACC tournament? That's a good question. Notre Dame at 14-16. I'll say it like this, Buck. They're 40 in RPI. They play in the ACC. They got to 14-16. They finished really strong. I think Notre Dame is going to be sweating, but I think they're going to be in. They're going to be nervous on selection day. Would you rather have your duck quacked or your... All right. Wiley, Ballard, and Joyer, you're about to get timed out. Buck, me and you asked the same question. That's right. Zach, stop asking the same questions. You guys are making me sound like an idiot now. I literally hit sent right before you posted that. Promise I'm not copying you. You're just a secret Notre Dame fan. No, I think Notre Dame, I think they have to be. I mean, I think as it stands right now, I think they would be in. But, if they lose out, I mean, if we look at the ACC tournament bracket, someone send me the ACC tournament, the bracket now. I need to see what that looks like. I need to see who Zach or Canes pull up the the ACC tournament bracket now as it will be. I need to see who Notre Dame is playing. In my mind, so I'm guessing what Notre Dame gets. Does Notre Dame get a bye or no? Notre Dame was 4-14 and finished 14-16. Incredible turnaround. Yeah. I mean, they looked like they were just done. The first, more than the first half of the season in ACC play. And to go 12 or 10-2, outstanding job by the coaching staff there at Notre Dame. Zach, I know Zach sent it to me. I know Zach. Zach's just, I know what he's doing. All right, Zach's got it up. We're gonna pull it up here. You're the man, Zach. All right. What did I just do? Oh. Of course, I did that. Here we go. All right. So Notre Dame plays Boston College game 1. I think, in my mind, Notre Dame wins one game. They're in. Notre Dame is in. Nancy, how you doing? We got a Georgia Tech fan in the chat. Finally, we got way too many Miami fans in this chat, Nancy, so thank you for joining. Does GT get to host a regional? Nancy, I think without a doubt, Georgia Tech will be hosting a regional. There's never been an ACC regular season champion that has not been a host. And quite frankly, usually the ACC, I think you can even say probably 100% of the time, the ACC regular season champion is like a national seed. So I think you put that together. I think Georgia Tech is a lock for a host. And if they are not a host, it is a travesty. So I think it will be, I think for sure Georgia Tech will get a host. But, all right, looking at this, Notre Dame plays Boston College. All right, so pretty good draw for them in game 1. I do think if they win one game, they're probably in the NCAA tournament. It gets much harder after that because they got to play Virginia, right? So it's like, okay, is Notre Dame going to beat Virginia? It's one game, so anything can happen. But I think Notre Dame beats Boston College. I think they're probably in. If they beat Virginia, they're definitely in. And then let's see who the other. I mean, other teams. I mean, Miami gets Cal first. That's a pretty good matchup for Miami. Then they get Wake Forest, and then if they beat Wake Forest, they play Georgia Tech. So I think Miami's actually got a pretty good. I think Wake is Wake's one of those teams. It just depends on. It depends on which Wake team shows up. Wake either plays out of their mind, or they've been very inconsistent this year. That's really it. Nancy's, yeah. Wiley Ballard Enjoyer he's walking a tight line, and I know this guy personally, so I'm giving him a little bit of slack. Nancy, make sure you get Kyle some tickets for the Georgia Tech Regional. Man, Nancy didn't have to get them for me. I will get them. Don't worry. This man, Wally. Yeah, ban this man. I know, dude. I know him personally. Please stop. Hey, Wiley, please stop taking it too far, okay? Nancy, thoughts on Georgia Tech winning the tournament? I do not know you. I think I do. I think I do know you. Maybe I don't. If I don't know you like that, don't say that, because I am just going to ban you if you say something else. Nancy, but thoughts on Georgia Tech winning the tournament? Are you talking ACC tournament? I mean, let's look at the route. So obviously they're going to play the winner of NC State and probably, I mean, with that, it's probably going to be the winner of NC State or Clemson. So that's a flip. I mean, it's NC State or Clemson. Either team could win that. But I think you're not playing Georgia Tech is on the opposite side of the bracket of Florida State and UNC, which are probably the two best teams in the ACC right now. So a lot of that's not discounting Clemson, that's not discounting NC State. I just think overall teams, Florida State and UNC have really good pitching. They have really good offenses. Clemson has good pitching. Its offense has been a little bit not great. NC State, again, if you look at their numbers, you're just kind of like they've won games, but there's not one part of them that really sticks out. So I think Georgia Tech actually is on the easier side of the bracket for making it to the ACC championship. So I think there's a good chance. Or he's going to tell college coaches about your behavior, Wiley Ballard Enjoyer. Yeah. I thought I knew who he was. An old friend of mine, let's say. Could it be a Lodi's showdown? Yeah, 100%. I mean, I think on that side of the bracket right now, my pick on the bottom side of the bracket, to be fair, I think it's either Virginia or UNC. I mean, with how UNC played Florida State this weekend, I think UNC probably is the most complete team now with how they've played the second half in the ACC. I think they're my pick actually to UNC is actually, I think, has the best chance out of the ACC to win then the College World Series. But Virginia, I mean, don't sleep on Virginia, because Virginia is playing like they were preseason ranked. Virginia is playing out of their mind right now. So I think it's Virginia or UNC who makes it to the ACC championship. And then in the top bracket, I think it's going to be Georgia Tech or Clemson. And you're saying we're an easy path? Well, no, I'm saying, well, I mean, you have to beat Cal, and then you have to beat Wake Forest. So, you got to win 2 games to get to us, buddy. I'm not so you got to take care of business to get to Georgia Tech. But I'm so excited to watch the ACC tournament this year, because every game is important. Every game is important. Whereas, for years, these pool play, the 3 teams in each pool, it was just brutal to watch. Best part of conference tournament games is I get games at 8 a.m. Tuesday and Wednesday. Yeah, hey, dude, you said it, man. You get baseball all day. It's the best. I mean, that's crazy. It's in 3 days, too. Excuse me. Wiley Ballard, please no ban. Hashtag First Amendment. Yeah, First Amendment, man. But, I'm not the government banning your speech, so that only applies to the government. Tech has fire in their belly, not ranked, and was preseason ACC number 10. Yeah, I mean, I've talked about it, Nancy, like all year on these streams that I do, but just the ACC in general is very undervalued. Besides like your Florida State and your UNC, everyone else is very undervalued. I mean, Clemson, throw Clemson in there as well. They were highly ranked for a long time. But my theory on that is that basically you had teams like Virginia, you had teams like NC State and Duke and UNC who all started the year playing really poorly. And so you had these 4 teams that were all pretty highly ranked preseason, and they stopped. They didn't play well. So all of a sudden, I think the guys at D1 baseball just were like, maybe the ACC is not as good this year. But it's funny because if you look at it now, UNC's playing well, Virginia's playing well, Duke's playing well. Wake Forest has really come on late, right? They've gotten over 500 in ACC play. So I just think the ACC in general is undervalued. I cannot for the life of me understand why Georgia Tech, who came into the weekend, you just beat a top 20 team in Louisville, and you have a chance to win the ACC outright this weekend when they did it, then they still weren't ranked. It made no sense. Pool play was no bueno. Yeah, pool play. I mean, that was. I said that so many times that like that format, the ACC tournament format was so bad, and the SEC tournament format was so much better. And I'm glad they made that change. How much did James Ramsey help his cause getting the GT job? I mean, I think he's helped it as good as he can. And like I said, I've heard that he's the favorite, and there's a lot of people supporting that. But certainly, if performance for the season is taken into account, like first time winning the outright ACC title in 20 plus years, so did his job. Are you a Fed/PSYOP? I won't tell anyone if so. Definitely not a Fed. Definitely not a PSYOP. I'm the breaker of PSYOPs is what I am. I'm the breaker of PSYOPs. PSYOPs don't work on me. They bounce off. I see through them all. Keep Wiley. He's entertaining. He is entertaining. I need to just make sure he kind of, he keeps it, family friendly. That's what I need. And I'm pretty sure I know who he is. Pretty sure I know who he is. He's a Fed. I'll tell you that. What positions does Georgia Tech need on offense next season? Okay. So, everyone is returning except for Kyle Lodis. Everybody. So, and Curse has been the best defender as far as I think it's defensive runs saved in the ACC this year. The question is Curse better suited as your second baseman, can fill at third type guy? And he's an elite defender at those positions? Or is he going to regress at shortstop? Like, can he really hold down short? I don't know. I haven't seen him at short enough to be like, yeah, he can play short. I can't imagine he's probably as good or better than Kyle Lodis. So you're going to need a middle infielder. And so the question for Georgia Tech staff is, all right, well, who do you got coming in the 26 class? Is there a guy, or the 25 class, I should say? Is there a guy coming in that you really like and you think this guy could be a freshman that comes in and fills in there, or at second maybe, and you move Curse to short? Also, a corner outfield spot is open, because that right field spot has kind of been a carousel. It was Parker Brocious for a long time, and he's just struggled this year, even though I think he's a good player. He's just struggled with the bat this year. And you've seen Schaus out there. You've seen Nisus out there. And so that's another piece. Another piece is, you probably are looking for a corner outfielder of some kind. So there's really not much offensive needs for Georgia Tech. What they are going to do this summer is go after some big time arms, right? Especially if you host a regional. Like, hope and pray the curse breaks and they get to a super regional, right? You get to a super regional, all of a sudden you can recruit way better talent. And I think Georgia Tech's plan will be to go after some really big arms, because that is, again, they do not have a whole lot of depth in the pitching this year. They have the guys that have pitched the most have pitched really well, but they need more dependable arms, and so I think that's what they'll do. Exactly what a Fed would say. You've made my list, buddy. Thank you. I don't want to make your list, I don't think. D1 Baseball had a hot board for the UL Monroe immediately, but still don't have a hot board for GT. Yeah, I mean, dude, it's weird. Like I said, I've just totally forgot about it because it's been so long. I know it's not coming. And what position is he playing? Will they hit the portal, or will? I mean, they're definitely gonna hit the portal. I mean, everyone hits the portal, right? I remember when the portal first opened, a lot of coaches said, "That's not our identity. Like, we develop high schoolers," and then like everyone started having a lot of success with the portal guys, especially their Power 4 teams that are getting really good players from mid majors and everything. So Georgia Tech will be, and again, typically like what two players from the portal did Georgia Tech get this year that have had a big impact? Jalen Payton from Georgia Southern, Kent Schmidt from Georgia Southern, Kyle Lodies from Augusta. So in-state. And then look, Brady Jones from Georgia State. So I think like you're probably looking at, if they're players at Georgia State and Georgia Southern, unfortunately now, if they're a freshman, they have a really good year, like they're gonna go in the portal and Georgia Tech will probably scoop them up, or Georgia. It's kind of like we've talked about. It's like the feeder system. It's like the minor league system. Everyone better have their money ready. Looks like the shortstop, second base market in the portal will be popping. I mean, that's like the position that everybody wants to get. Definitely need pitching, Nancy says. Yeah, 100%. And again, I think what Matt's done this year is, again, there's like 6, maybe 7 guys that have thrown all the innings, and they've done a great job in those roles. It's going to be interesting come regional time to see how that plays out if you have to go 4 or 5 games. But certainly you look at the team ERA compared to last year and the last 3 or 4 years to this year, it's been a major improvement. But they need to get, and you know what? Some of the guys that pitched this weekend and even on Friday that in the blowout, you're like, that guy's a young arm and he's throwing 92, 94. Like that guy, maybe next year he makes a jump and he's getting a lot of innings. Might Ethan Murray will battle for a middle infield spot. Son played travel with him. Yeah, probably. And again, like it's some, what you have to understand is that there's some guys, and I think Ethan Murray's he's a great player. But there are guys that coaching staff knows coming in the 25 class who they think that guy's going to be challenging for spots. Like that guy's going to be challenging for a lineup spot. So I'm sure, James Ramsey. Well, that's the other thing. It's like, well, we don't know who the next head coach is yet. So it's kind of like we're talking about something. We're putting the cart before the horse. Does Georgia Tech have the NIL to compete for a big time pitcher? We'll see. I mean, we'll see after this season, man. I mean, I don't think, Georgia Tech as of now has not had a whole lot of NIL. And it's not even like you don't need like a Tennessee Liam Doyle. If you can just get 5 or 6 Jalen Paytons, You're a way better team. You're a way better team. Now, if they get the backing to go after a big time ace, that would be great too. But Tate McKee will be coming back. He's had an okay year. He's kind of regressed a little bit here lately. So Tate McKee will be coming back. When you go to Georgia Tech games, you get to sit in to share a suite for free. Yes. It seems like all the big-time transfers will go to the SEC. Need some of the younger pitchers to step up. Yeah, Zach, I mean, they're going to go where the money is. So typically, that's the SEC. Need some of the younger pitchers to step up, Nancy? Yep. Yeah, and I think they do have some promising young arms. The problem is this. The question mark is this. The young arms that are promising, that have like 8 innings on the year, are they going to go in the portal? And the exit meetings are going to have a big impact on that. So that's the other thing to watch, Nancy, is like how many of those young arms that are pretty promising, like how many of them are going to be in the portal. Yeah, and no one knows. Like, the coaches will tell you all the time, like the exit meeting, they're like, oh, this guy's staying, and then the next day he's in the portal. Not until this. Any update on Mississippi State job? Nope. None since what I originally heard, is I heard that Rob Vaughn was the favorite. But things change fast. Not until this next upcoming season, Zach, the ACC is coming. I don't know if Georgia Tech will be one of those teams, but I know 3 teams that will. Yeah, the ACC is starting to, Clemson, Miami's going to have a lot. I mean, Florida State. I mean, the thing is, what you hope as a coach is that when you do something like win the ACC regular season title, your administration's like, all right, here, yeah, we're gonna give you even more funding, we're gonna give you even more support, whatever. That's what you hope for. Kane's finna catch these hands. I didn't say it. You did. Canes, are you Pitbull's burner? I won't tell anyone if so. Hashtag Dale. Canes kind of does look like Pitbull a little bit. It's just kind of true. He's not bald, though. But I saw a picture of him at Boston College with the sunglasses on. They look like Pitbull's sunglasses. They've started the exit meetings. No couple of freshman pitchers are cut. Yeah, which is normal now. I mean, unfortunately. Dale. I've been out of professional baseball too long, man. Dale. I know. I can't believe I didn't see that. I even read it and I was like, Dale? Like what? I was like, what? It's pronounced Dale, gringo. Thank you. Not Dale, Kyle. Dale. I was wearing pit vipers. Yeah, I know. Like you had that look. Canes is like a Miami Vice, like Pitbull guy. He flies down to Columbia. Crazy stuff. Siete chips. Please sponsor me. These are amazing. These are street corn flavored tortilla chips. They're unbelievable. Please sponsor me. And I will eat them on stream every day. Meetings, not nettings. Yeah, I knew what you said, Nancy. I will say this. Typically, you have some players on the team that like halfway through the year they're not playing, and you say, they let them know what's going on. Like, and James was always, even before the portal, James was very He was always very good about, like, he was like, I'm going to be honest with the players so they know, like, if they want to go get on the field and play, like, it's probably not going to be here. Even when I was coaching with him, 3 or 4 years ago. And so that always happens with some players that aren't getting a lot of playing time. But majority of the exit meetings will happen after the season's over. You think Michael Early will survive? A&M fans want him gone. I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, there's no way to know until the season's over. Cap jumping in late. What's up, Cap? If you notice, I'm wearing this hat because these are ACC regular season champs. This is actually my wife's hat, by the way. I asked her if I could borrow it for the stream, and she was like, "You better bring it upstairs after you're done." Because she graduated summa cum laude from Georgia Tech. She was a real Georgia Tech student. I was just there to play baseball. Palka, man. Oh my gosh. Palka's raiding the stream. Guys, Daniel Palka, if you guys don't know, this is one of my best friends. He played in the big leagues. 27 jacks his rookie year in the big leagues. That's Daniel Palka right there. Georgia Tech legend. Georgia Tech Hall of Fame. That Daniel Palka. All right. He's in the chat. First comment. I've been doing these streams like daily for like 7 months. And first comment for Daniel Palka in the stream. Thank you, Dan. Even though my favorite player in Canes history is Dale Carey, you probably played against him. Yes, I played against him. I played against him in high school. Yeah. Yeah. He's a Georgia boy. Just because his name was Dale, I would crack up as a kid. How come outfielders now aren't as good as you were? I mean, Dan, you can answer that question. There's not many. I mean, I appreciate that compliment, Dan. How come most kids these days don't have as much power as you? Dinner was calling. When's the portal open and close? June 2nd is I believe it's June. It changes every year. Like last year it was June 4th. I believe it's June 2nd this year. And then it's a month. It's open for a month. So you have a month to hop in the portal. A lot of parents and players get it confused. They think you have to be committed and like signed with a school by the time the portal closes. The portal close date just means you have up until that date to put your name in the portal. Daniel Palka, can I get your autograph? You can sign in the comment section here. You were a part of one of 3 elite frats in Georgia Tech. The biggest fraternity at Miami is the baseball team. We were not. I mean, I guess you can kind of say that, but we were not a frat. Don't say that, Canes. Nancy Pye, we have 5 tech grads. Yeah. That's right. That's awesome. You have 5 in your family, 5 tech grads? So I have my twin brother, Colby, my wife, Julie, and myself. So we have 3. I always say it took me 10 years. I had to wait till I was done playing and then went back and I was like 10 years older than everyone in my class. It was weird. You hear all the former players say it. People would ask them to join a fraternity and they would say, what? Yeah. It is a fraternity. You're right. It is a fraternity. Drew does all right. Maybe not anymore because of the portal. Yeah, maybe not. Wiley Ballard enjoyer. Kyle had several honorary bids per WBE sources. Well, funny story. Speaking of Daniel Palka, who's in the chat, our freshman year, Daniel Palka was roommates with me, my brother, and another kid, Jonathan Roberts, we all went to the same high school, and Daniel was our other roommate. And when it was rush week, I don't know if it was Dan's idea, whoever's idea it was, we just went and rushed all the fraternities in like made up names and like acted like we were gonna join a fraternity. So that actually is probably true, Wiley Ballard and Jorah. I'm still waiting for like one of the D1 baseball people to respond to my tweet, which was, has there ever been an ACC regular season champ that was not a host? And I haven't seen any tweets about them winning the championship either, or at least the regular season title. I heard several houses blackballed Polka after he said Busch Light is kind of yucky at rush parties. Please credit WWBE with info. Oh my gosh, Wiley Ballard and Jorah. That's getting close to the line again. Made fake names, and then those frat boys see Kyle as ACC Freshman of the Year. I was not ACC Freshman of the Year. I was pretty much the runner-up to Colin Moran. Colin Moran won ACC Freshman of the Year, unfortunately. He ended up being pretty good. The SEC bootlickers aren't going to. Zach, going to be interesting to see who D1 Baseball has as the 16 host tomorrow night. Are they doing a thing tomorrow night? Are they doing a show like they're gonna do their predictions? Hubby lettered in baseball back in the day. Coach Luck, left-handed pitcher drafted by the Mets, but had torn rotator cuffs. Yeah, it's one of those injuries. Now you're like, like what? Why was that a big deal? But like back then, wasn't much you could do for it. Came back the next year to get a degree. Yeah, that's the key, man. You get into Georgia Tech, if you make it to pro ball, so you need to, unless you make a lot of money in the major leagues, you got to come back. Kendall Rogers did tweet about it. He said they won on percentages. I found it disrespectful. Stop. Dude, he did not say that. Are you kidding me? They're doing a bracket nerdcast tomorrow. Did he really say that? Let me see. I mean, they had the most wins. They had the most wins in the ACC. You could say Florida State. Like Florida State against Virginia. Are you saying they were going to sweep Virginia? North Carolina at best could have tied. That is a weak tweet. That is a weak... just say they won the ACC regular season title. Like, are we assuming that UNC would have won that final game? Are we assuming that Florida State would have swept Virginia with how they've been playing? Heck no. They're doing a bracket nerdcast tomorrow night. That'll be nice. We have to tune into that. Kyle, any news you can speak on about coaching changes on the West Coast? None, not really. None that nothing that I've heard anything about. I'd have to ask the rest of my guys. But I none that I've personally heard much about. Should have back-to-back ACC freshmen with Alex. Yeah, Hernandez definitely should win the ACC freshman of the year. Canes, you can't control what God has planned, and unfortunately it was what happened at FSU. So what he said about Georgia Tech is BS, in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, well, it's one thing to say, like, just say they had the most wins. Terrell Dyer or Terrell Dyer, one of the other. Do we get snubbed from the host? I do not think so. I don't. If you're the regular season ACC champion, you're always a host. You're always a host. And so in my mind, like there's no way they're a host. But if you're saying you're worried, if they win one game in the ACC tournament, I think it's like 110% chance. But in my mind, it should be a lock. It should be a lock. And I just went over 11.7 put out their kind of final 3 hosting spot teams that are on that bubble. And in my mind, Georgia Tech's resume was the best one. Didn't know beer was out of line here. Thought this was a cool chat. My apologies, I was wrong. No, it's not out of line. I'll text you about it, Wiley Ballard Enjoyer, if you are who I think you are. He did say that. Kyle, do you think Cal will become competitive in the ACC? I don't know, man. It's like a lot of the West Coast schools. I think Cal and ACC and Stanford in particular will be able to recruit better now that they're in the ACC. The question is this: are players going to want to sign up for flying east every weekend? Like, that's the question. Because that is brutal travel. Traveling east is way, like I've told you guys a bunch. When I would go west to Arizona for spring training, it was amazing. The first week you wake up at like 3 a.m. and you feel like you've got 20 hours of sleep and you still got like 3 hours before you got to get up. And so traveling west is easy. Traveling east is a whole nother nightmare. So I think they should become more competitive. The question, are they ever going to be fighting for an ACC top 4 in the ACC type thing? I don't know. Zach, you want another interesting stat? It's 5 or 6 straight seasons Miami has had a freshman All-American. Recruits watching this, freshmen play and ball at Miami if you can play. Thanks for the follow, Zach. Family. $11 hits and the slow jazz is on. I don't control this music. The one thing with the streaming software, let me see. I can switch it. Here we go. I'll shuffle. It's like I can only pick categories of like music, and it's chill hop is the best one I have. And so that's what I'm playing is chill hop. Sometimes I like it. Sometimes I'm like, what am I listening to? But Dan, thank you for commenting again, man. I really appreciate the support you're bringing to the stream. Canes and the player that started that streak made the majors last night. Palmquist, dude, yeah, I saw he made his debut last night. But he got ripped to shreds, did he? That's unfortunate. Welcome to the show, I guess. That's a guy you like. I don't know. He was just such a unique arm at Miami. So Yale has to beat Harvard once and then beat Columbia twice to make the NCAA tournament. Dang. I really want to see Yale in the tournament, man, because I want to see Ullman. I want to see whoever gets Yale as their 4th seed. If they make it, good luck. Like, you can't pitch off. You can't pitch off. Yale's got a freshman who's a legit SEC Friday night guy. But I saw they lost like their first game or something in the tournament, so hopefully they can find a way to pull it off. I was watching the game during your stream yesterday. I feel like his velo dropped. He was sitting 89.90. Really? Like the whole season, he's been 94, 97. Oh, you're talking Carson Palmquist. You're talking Palmquist. Okay. 4 1/3, 6 hits, 5 earned runs, 4 walks, 0 Ks. Yeah, that's about as rough as it gets. That's not missing it. He's not missing bats. Not a good debut. He also plays for the Rockies. Yeah, that's tough if you're a pitcher. Fullerton just took 2 of 3 from Irvine. Yeah, that's why I think Irvine's out now. I think Irvine's gone. Irvine is in the tournament, but I don't think Irvine's going to get a host now. And I think if Irvine legitimately, if they just won the series, they're probably a host. But Irvine that losing that series to Fullerton was just, it killed it. It killed their host chance. Irvine fraudulent. I think Irvine's good. I think, again, it's so hard for mid-majors. They just have to almost be perfect. Like, you just can't have one bad weekend loss. And they had it the last week of the series, last week of the season. Which just makes it tough. All right, let's look at the RPI rankings. Yeah, Georgia Tech being at 20 still is kind of crazy, too. If Kansas wins the Big 12 tournament, they should strongly be considered for a host. Yeah, I think if they win the Big 12 tournament, they're definitely in consideration. But I don't know, man. Like, they've had a few bad losses. Who's the non-power for Coastal and Southern Miss, or did Georgia Tech just boot one of them? I think Coastal's definitely getting a host. Southern Miss, in my opinion, I think the sad thing is this. If you looked at 11.7's tweet about the bubble host for like the last 3 spots, like I look at Southern Miss this season and I'm like, they have like one of the best resumes. But I think they legitimately have to like win the Sun Belt tournament. They just swept Troy, who's top 25 team. But I think they have to win the tournament almost to get a host with their strength of schedule and RPI and everything. Because, let's see, Southern Miss. Southern Miss RPI is 21, right? So I think if they do well in the tournament and they win it, I think they have a chance. My chance of watching a regional live just evaporated. Is that because of... Oh, why is that? Oh, because of Irvine. Oh, you mean in person. Yeah, because of Irvine. How far did we fall? Miami is 31. So Miami's in like fine shape. They fell 3 spots from 28 to 31. Kansas has bad quad 1 win-loss record. Yeah. And that was in the... I'm going to pull it back up just so I can reference it. Yeah, so Kansas quad 1 only has 10 games and they're 4-6. So it's just like they have not played a lot of like of the best teams. Southern Miss is 7-4 in quad one matchups. Still, it's not a lot of games, but they're 7-4. Their strength of schedule is 69, and their RPI is 22. So I think they have to, with that kind of strength of schedule, or their RPI is now 21. But with that kind of strength of schedule, I think they just have to do a really, maybe win the tournament or at least get to the championship. I don't know. And again, it depends on how other teams are doing as well. Ever since I talked shoot to that Oregon State fan in the D1 baseball chat, we've lost 5 of our last 6. Yeah, Miami's in. Miami's in. They're 16-14 in the ACC. They're in for sure. Kyle, your video on the ADHD meds was excellent. It's ridiculous and unfortunate. Yep. It is. That's funny. But no Miami regional for 3 out of 4 years. Dude, you Miami fans are like so gross with like, oh, we haven't hosted a regional in 2 years. Or like, dude, we haven't been to Omaha in like 6 years, man. Or whatever. It's longer than that, I know, but back-to-back weeks on the road for you. Where'd you going, Canes? But for those of you who missed it earlier, I'm going to pull this up again. So this is, according to 11.7, who those guys are pretty good. This is who they believe the hosting bubble is. For like, again, for like those final 3 or 4 spots. And they said right here, any response that doesn't include Georgia Tech is wrong. ACC title is near auto hosting rights. 2 bids left. Right? So, and again, I believe the same thing. Florida, in my mind, I get it. Their RPI is good. Their strength of schedule is really good. They're 11-16 in quad one. And they're 15-15 in the SEC. If Tennessee, no one thinks Tennessee is going to get a host with how they've finished. If Tennessee finishes 16-14 and 41-15, if Tennessee's not getting a host, I don't think Florida should get a host. And just as Ole Miss shouldn't get a host. TCU, RPI is pretty good. Strength of schedule, pretty good. They've only played 14 quad one games. Again, they're in the mix. I think TCU is. I honestly, this is my take on it right now. Is it's Georgia Tech, TCU, and UCLA because they're going to give it to a West Coast school. UCLA's 3-7 against quad one, but they're going to give it to UCLA. Not if you listen to the people in the space. He's trying to tell people we're out, spreading fake propaganda. What? How would Miami be out? They're 16-14. Does Louisville go from ranked this week to out of the tourney? I don't think Louisville's out of the tourney. Their RPI is 29, and they're 15-15 in the ACC. But they definitely, 3 weeks ago, were in hosting consideration, and now they're going to make the tournament, I think. It would really surprise me if they don't. I think most people think it's going to be 11 teams from the ACC. It's going to be 10 or 11. Louisville, I think, is definitely in then. And I think Notre Dame, with how they finished, I think if they win if their opening game in the ACC tournament is against Boston College, if they win that game, I think it's they're going to be sweating still, but I think Notre Dame gets in with just how they've closed, going 10-2 over their last 12. So, I mean, I think Notre Dame's going to get in. So I think Louisville's in. But certainly they're not feeling great about how these last 3 or 4 weeks have gone for them. Indy 500 next weekend and wherever the Canes are playing in the regionals. You're going, dude, Canes, you just traveling all the time, man. Mr. 305. I don't think there has been an ACC regular season champ the last 15 years who isn't a national seed. Yeah, I was saying that earlier, Dan, that like it's not just that winning the ACC regular season title is like auto host. It's generally auto national seed. So it's so weird. It is mind-blowing to me that Georgia Tech went into the weekend after beating number 20 Louisville at the time, not ranked, and they're not ranked while they have the chance to win the ACC outright in the regular season. How is that possible? Meanwhile, the other three teams at the start of the weekend that had a chance to win the ACC title, besides Georgia Tech, were NC State, who was number 13, and then UNC and Florida State, who are top 5. And little Georgia Tech was just not ranked. Crazy. But Duke was ranked. They're 11th in the ACC, Daniel. They said the ACC is getting 10 teams. They're 10th in Louisville's 10th. Notre Dame's 11th. Canes. And I think there's a question. It's going to be 10 or 11. Because after Notre Dame, it's just there's nobody else, right? Unless Virginia Tech, Stanford, Boston College. But even if one of those bottom teams wins the ACC tournament, it'll probably kick Notre Dame out. So Notre Dame, I think, is fine as long as like Virginia Tech, Stanford, Boston College, Pittsburgh, Cal don't win the ACC championship. And by fine, I mean I think they're probably getting in. Should have been ranked 100%, Nancy. Zach, Danny Hall is probably going to win ACC Coach of the Year in his final season. He should. You were projected to finish 10th in the ACC and you won it. Like what else has to happen? No respect for Georgia Tech. Yeah, and no, listen, like when they went on that skid, I got it that they fell out of the rankings, but at some point you have to realize, oh, okay, they figured it out. I already told you what Kendall Rogers said about Georgia Tech on the podcast last week, and now the tweet. Yeah, they're just not a good team. We just don't think they're a good team. Really. So the SEC will get 13 and the ACC could get up to 11. Yeah, I think that's right. I think that's right. I'm going to pull up the SEC standings just to double check here. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's A&M, Carolina, or South Carolina, and Missouri. Like, their only chances of getting in are winning the SEC tournament. So I think, like, Kentucky got to that magic number in the SEC, which is 13. In the ACC, it's a question of, like, is the magic number 14 or 15? But I think with how Notre Dame has finished, and they've gotten some big wins, I think Notre Dame is going to find a way to get in. And again, I think if they just take care of business and beat Boston College, opening game of the ACC tournament here in 3 days, they're going to be fine. Good. Best tortilla chips in the world. Dan with a bold prediction here. I almost choked on my chip. Daniel Palka, former big leaguer, Georgia Tech Hall of Famer, is claiming that the ACC will only get 8 teams, which would meaning Miami, Louisville, and Notre Dame would not get in. I think Miami's fine. I think Miami's safe. They're got and Louisville as well. Louisville's 29 RPI. Miami's 31. I think Notre Dame is the one up in arms. I think the ACC is going to get 10, a minimum 10. But that would be a shock if like Miami and Louisville do not get in. That would be a shock. But I'll say it like this. If the committee's view is similar to D1 baseball's, the ACC is in trouble. Because the ACC this year, just in more so than any year before, it just seems like they're not as respected in the rankings. If Miami loses to Cal Tuesday, would be in trouble. I don't know how far our RPI will drop. Would be a quad 3 loss. Well, I mean, you got it. Well, and Miami knows like they have to win game 1, so they're going to throw Hugas, or you may throw Siskar. I mean, Siskar's been just dynamite. He's been lights out. I mean, you may just throw Siskar. But they know they got to win. I mean, to feel safer, they got to win game 1. And I guess, in my opinion, I'm looking at Cal's lineup, and if it's full of a bunch of right-handed hitters, I'm throwing Siskar. Because he's just going to be a nightmare for him. Don't have time tonight, boys, but wanted to check in. Georgia Tech absolute host. Good night, man. Wow. Unbelievable. Dusty chiming in an hour and 15 minutes into stream. Says, sorry, guys, no time. I'm just leave a comment here. And then peace out. Needs to be top 8. Let's go. That's what we're all saying. Who do you think Tech should throw Thursday? Well, I think you kind of have to throw McKee because Jalen Payton and Brady Jones both threw today. So I think you're pretty locked into Tate McKee, who's been the last 3 weeks, he's kind of been the worst starter of the 3. So you're not like too excited about that. The hope is that he can kind of right the ship. But he has not looked, and again, I'll give him credit on Thursday. He walked, he did not have his command. He did not look good, but he did find a way to get through 5 innings in battle and keep the team in the game. But that's just not what you, like, that's not what you want from your Friday night guy, your number 1 guy. If your Saturday guy does that, your Sunday guy does that, you're like, oh, that was a great job. Your Friday night guy is like 6-7 innings. You're either tied or have the lead. But then Siskar will be pitching on 3 days rest, Zach, you're right. So it's got to be Hugas then. It's got to be Hugas. Yeah, the Tuesday start is just messing with my brain. And it was interesting when the committee chair said they used some of D1 Baseball's charts and analytics. Oh, God. Please no. But on a short leash, yeah. Yeah. And the good thing for Georgia Tech is like the double bye is massive. And Zach brings it up, Hugas will be pitching on 4 days rest. That's why not getting any buys is huge. Yeah, it is. It is. Like getting double buys so your pitchers can at least get, legitimately, you're going to get a week of rest. Is massive. Going from Thursday to Tuesday, for a guy in pro ball is not a huge deal. But for a kid in college who's used to getting 7 days rest. Like he pitches on Friday, he doesn't pitch till next Friday. Like 5 days rest, which is normal in pro ball, feels a lot different for a kid in college. But all right, guys, it's getting that time of night. I'm gonna say good night. Appreciate all the support, all you guys commenting. It's been a blast. Again, I tell you guys this all the time. I love you guys. I enjoy doing this, just talking the game, talking baseball, making predictions. It's like something I look forward to every day. So I appreciate all you guys. Again, go to our YouTube channel, subscribe, like, Elite Sports Advising on YouTube. Same thing on Instagram. Follow everything. Just put a bunch of support on the channel. But thank you for all the comments, all the discussion. And we're probably going to do another one of these tomorrow, probably after the Nerdcast. We're at a stream high. Don't go. Dude, it's like 11:20. Polka, if you keep retweeting the streams, I think the numbers will keep going up though. That's the thing. So you just have to retweet every time I go live. That's all. That's it. But we did get new camera and lighting set up, and I think people just like it in general. Kendall Rogers is a dork who likely didn't play ball past 11 under. Don't listen to every word he says. He's a good guy, man. I like Kendall. I mean, I don't know how long he played baseball, but again, I love what they do at D1 baseball. They cover college baseball better than anyone else. Like, there's really not a lot else out there covering college baseball the way that they do. So I love D1 baseball. I just think there's like a real blind spot with the ACC this year, and I'm not sure why. But all right, guys, I'm going to sleep. And by sleep, I mean wait for one of my kids to wake up in the middle of the night and not sleep. All right. So I'll do this tomorrow. We're going to do another stream tomorrow probably, and we'll talk about D1 baseball's projections for the NCAA tournament hosting and everything. And if they don't have Georgia Tech as a host, we're gonna riot. All right, guys, have a good rest of your